The Indonesian capital of Jakarta is suffering one of the world's worst cases of land subsidence. Scientists warn that a large swath of the city could be submerged by 2050.
To stem the sinking, a governmental project was launched this year. It's a joint effort with engineers from Tokyo, which decades ago faced serious land subsidence. NHK World's Soichiro Tanizawa has more.
An abandoned mosque. Submerged years ago, some parts of Jakarta have sunk more than 2 meters since 2000, and 40% of the city now lies below sea level. This makes coastal areas more vulnerable to high tide and storms. Strong winds and high tide send seawater gushing over dikes and into properties.
Flooding, well, it has become normal.
In May, the Indonesian government and Jakarta City launched a countermeasure project in tandem with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA. In September, Nobuyuki Tsuchiya, a project advisor, visited Jakarta to survey the current situation.
This place faces life-threatening danger due to high tides and flooding. We have to prevent the land from sinking as soon as possible.
Tsuchiya once worked for the Tokyo metropolitan government and was long involved in measures to minimize the impact of land subsidence. By the 1970s, Tokyo was experiencing serious land subsidence. In some areas, the ground sank more than 4 meters. This led to frequent damage from high tides and typhoons. Since then, Tokyo has had to spend vast sums of money to build flood prevention infrastructure.
The city of Tokyo will carry that burden forever. I don't want the people of Jakarta to go through that too. It's imperative to halt the sinking now, before it gets any worse.
From his survey, Tsuchiya discovered a severely impacted industrial zone. You can see evidence of it around this pillar where the ground has sunk.
This is probably the same as over there. The surrounding area has sunk.
A spike in industrial facilities has led to increased groundwater usage in this area. Additionally, about 40% of residents in the capital still rely on well water due to the lack of a water supply.
It's likely that the subsidence is related to the use of groundwater. It's important to stop the pumping of groundwater for both industrial and domestic use.
In Tokyo, groundwater usage was the main cause of the sinking. Underground layers filled with moisture shrink when the groundwater is pumped up. So the Japanese government began strictly regulating the pumping of groundwater to reverse the pace of land subsidence. By the mid-1970s, ground subsidence had been stopped. Tsuchiya and his team visit an Indonesian government official to emphasize the importance of groundwater usage regulation.
The land would stop sinking if these factories stopped pumping up water. We were pumping water for industrial use in Tokyo too, so the Japanese government made a law to regulate the pumping up of groundwater.
But the official cited various hurdles.
To stop extraction or abstraction groundwater, we have to provide water from river water. It needs time, I think. Can be 5 or 10 years.
This convinced Tsuchiya that Jakarta officials needed to observe Tokyo's situation close up so they can realize how severe their situation is. In late October, 7 members of the Jakarta team came to Tokyo at the invitation of JICA. Tsuchiya takes them on a tour of the city's scars of land subsidence and outlines the preventative measures currently in place.
Originally, the land was at this level. The entrance of the building used to be at this level. But as the land sank, they added steps like this.
足してったんです。これ第1期がここまで。これ第2期こうやって。
This area lies below sea level. In order to prevent flooding, the government is constructing a 51-kilometer long levee and raising the ground level along the river. The total cost is estimated to run to about $2 billion, and there's no completion date in sight yet.
Expensive. Yes, very expensive.
Yes. だからものすごくお金
The costs are huge. It'll take a long time, too.
The last day of the week-long study tour. The Jakarta team discusses future plans based on what they have seen in Tokyo.
We need to enact regulations on using groundwater, but at the moment only part of Jakarta has water pipes. This must be our highest priority. We must increase access to water from other sources.
All the visitors acknowledge the pressing importance of limiting groundwater usage and building embankments.
The first, faster we can take the action, the less money that we will spend to countermeasure the land subsidence.
If we can use the knowledge we gained from our experiences in Tokyo to help Jakarta, I think we will be able to stop the ground subsidence at a faster speed than Tokyo did.
Japan successfully coped with many challenges during its period of high economic growth. It could now help solve problems around the world as developing countries go through the same process. Soichiro Tanizawa, NHK World.